Welcome, thank you.
This is our first room when you come in our store. This is our fruit room. So we have all of our fruits that we grow here or that we buy locally, as many as we can. You know, some are shipped in, but mostly it's local and our own fruit. All the apples that you see on the table are Brown's apples from our orchard. Cut it in half, you bake it, and then you just eat the inside. You kind of scoop it out. It almost tastes like a sweet potato. Really? Similar to that. Some of them have a little bit different taste. This is called spaghetti squash, and it's more like, it looks like spaghetti when you cook it. Yeah, it's like string. Yeah. But they're really good. Acorn squash, spaghetti squash, butternut squash, and some of the sweet dumplings and the carnival squash. We put our apple cider out for samples each day so the customers can try it and make sure that they like it.
Oh, thank you.
The jellies and jams. We have all different kinds. So people come in for unique kinds that they might not get everywhere else. You know, at the store, like everywhere has strawberry jam or strawberry preserves, but not everyone has plum or apple, you know, or red raspberry.
And they are all made here?
Not all. No, we aren't a canning facility, so we don't have the facility to do that. But we get them from companies that, you know, have very good quality. You know, we purchase them in and they label it with the Brown's label. So some of them don't have the Brown's label. Like this is a company out of Maryland, and then they make all different kinds, a lot of different kinds that you can't get everywhere. And so it's made pretty local because it's in Maryland area, but they have all different kinds. And they all use North American fruit, so they like to put that on the sticker, knowing that it's all, you know, it's not being shipped in at all. And then this is apple butter. Apple butter is a Pennsylvania. Remember we talked about Pennsylvania Dutch things yesterday? This is kind of a Pennsylvania Dutch thing. So it's a spread, and the way that we would eat it at home is we would put toast some bread. We put a little butter on the bread, and then we'd spread this on top, and it's sweet.
Wow.
But it's just squashed apples. It's cooked apples. So they cook it a lot longer than a jam. They cook it to
longer?
Yeah. So this has still the chunks of apples in it, whereas this is cooked and cooked and cooked down until it's made into what they call a butter. So there's really no butter in there. It's just that you spread it onto the bread, and that's why they call it a butter.
As we do for the bread.
Yes. And then you have different kinds of butters too. That's a butternut squash butter, peach butter, and this time of year pumpkin butter is very popular. This is our deli at Brown's. Everything in this case that you see beside me is made at Brown's from scratch. So they're cutting up the chicken to make the chicken salad, and we have a lot of different products. Some you can get all around the US, and some are a little bit unique to our area. We call them Pennsylvania Dutch. We have red beet eggs down here. You'll be able to see those. They're actually a hard-boiled egg, and then they put it in the beets, the pickled beets, and then it sits in there, and the egg becomes pink the whole way through to the yolk. And you cut it, and then it has a little bit of a unique flavor to it, but very popular around our area. This is Brown's Bakery now, so we're into all the yummy treats. One of our most popular bakery items is our sugar cakes. They're just a very big, soft cookie. We make them regular like that. We make them with chocolate chips in them. And then this time of year, in the fall, we make them pumpkin flavored. So it's just a nice soft cookie. And then we have all different bakery products, all different cakes and pies. And then we were talking about the red beet eggs in the deli being Pennsylvania Dutch. We have a lot of Pennsylvania Dutch bakery items too. One of those is cherry pudding. And it's actually not pudding like you would eat vanilla pudding. It's actually a bread. It's a sweet bread with sour cherries in it. And the way the Pennsylvania Dutch people would eat it, or the way the people around this area would eat it, is they cut it up and they pour milk over it and heat it up, and they eat it as a meal. This is our cafe. This is a place that has become very popular, especially in the morning for breakfast. We serve breakfast, and we serve lunch and sandwiches all day long. We serve cold sandwiches, we serve panini sandwiches, we serve French fries, this morning we're serving omelets and eggs, hash browns, and we have all different things, and then we also serve coffee drinks and all different specialty drinks. Anywhere from just plain old coffee, black coffee, to right now we're into mainly hot drinks, but over the summertime we're doing a lot of cold drinks too. They also have our cider back here, and they have it hot apple cider back here that you can buy. this is what we call our seconds room. These are a lot of apples back here right now this time of year, and these apples may have bumps and bruises on them, but they're sold, bless you, but they're sold for cheaper than the first quality apples. They're used for a lot of people that make pies or make applesauce with their apples. We have big bags over here already set up for bags of applesauce, so someone can come in and they can get a whole bag of apples for $12.
Wow.
And then they can make applesauce, or they can make apple pies with those. Or if they want to pick out a specific kind, we have them back here. They're good for eating too. There's really hardly anything wrong with them, but we're very particular in our first quality fruit. We want it to be the best. So these are very picked out, and they might just have a few marks on them, but they're fine for all purpose. The apples come in big bins, and we make them into smaller crates so it's easier to handle. So we'll be back in the room here. We'll show you how the apples get into the small crates, but we want to make sure all the apples are first quality, so there's nothing wrong with them, no bumps or bruises. So they take these crates and then they grade them into smaller containers. This is our apple grading machine back in the back room here. We use this room for a lot of different purposes. We use it when the tractor trailers come in with different products for the store, and then we also use it to grade our apples. So like I said in there, when the apples come in, they come in a big bin. And then the bin goes onto the machine at the end, and the machine lets a few apples out at a time. So that way the apples aren't bumping and bruising against each other. You don't want them hitting each other the whole time. And then the machine washes the apples first, and then it puts each apple into its own cup, and then the cups roll up the hill, and then the apples come out of the machine over here, and it can be set to all different sizes. So you can set it to large, small, and medium. The workers stand out here, and they are grading, picking the apples out of here and putting them into the crates. And then if they find any bad ones, anything that's really bad, they're sitting it up here, and it runs down into another big bin, as you can see over there. There's a few apples in the bin, and those apples will be used to make apple cider. So that's about it for that.
That's for apple cider?
Yeah, if they're not too bad.
Okay.
If they have any rotten spots on them, then we can't use them. We only use picked apples for our apple cider. So any apples that are dropped on the ground or the trees fall off the trees, we don't use those at all. They just stay on the ground and the animals eat them. This is our apple cider making machine. This is where we make our apple cider. A whole bin of apples goes onto the machine here, and then the machine lets out a few apples at a time. Someone will stand here, kind of push the apples out here, and he is looking to make sure that none of the apples are bad. You know, you don't want anything that has a rotten spot on it to go through into the cider. So they would pick those out and they put them into a bucket, and then the bucket of apples goes to the local farmers. They feed their animals with the apples. So that way we don't waste any of the apples. They're not getting thrown out, they're getting used. And then the machine cleans the apples up, and then it squashes the apples and turns it into the apple cider. That's kind of what it sounds like a little bit when it's making the apple cider. Someone stands behind the machine over here, and they will use the big hose back there and hold it over their shoulder, and then this machine will have bags in each one of these. And he's feeding that, whatever's left, it's like some mush, kind of, and they feed it into the bags, and then this machine squeezes it like an accordion would squeeze, and it squeezes it so tight that all the juice comes out, and it goes into pipes and goes back into the cold room, and then what's left here is pretty much dry, and that is given to the local farmers, and they feed their animals with that. And that's the cider. After we're done making the cider that day, the cider goes into the holding tanks for one day, then the next day we bottle the cider. So this machine actually will bottle 4 bottles at a time. So they set it either a gallon or a half gallon. They adjust this, and then it'll fill them up, and then they set the caps on, and then the machine actually pounds the cap down, so it seals it. And then we spray off the bottles because they're very sticky, and then we put them into a bin, and then we sell them out in the store or to local grocery stores and local other farmers markets that sell our cider also. Some weeks we'll make up to 5,000 gallons of apple cider in 1 week's time. Depending on the time of year, we have anywhere from 100 to 200 employees working here at one time. Not everybody at one day, but that's about the amount, and somewhere around the 60 or so in the full time. we're here in the bakery at Brown's. The ladies Estelle and Nicole are putting some apple dumplings together to go into the oven. An apple dumpling, we talked about Pennsylvania Dutch products at Brown's, and this is one of those Pennsylvania Dutch products. It's a whole apple, but it's already cored and peeled, and then they put cinnamon, sugar,
nutmeg, and then a little bit of butter.
Nutmeg and butter, and then it's wrapped in dough on the outside, and then that's cooked. We don't have as much in the morning because every single day we're baking fresh. Each day we don't add any preservatives to most of our baked goods, so we have to make product every single day to go out to the store. So they're trying to get ahead. Every day they get ahead on something. So one day is dumpling dough day, and they're making all that dough to wrap around the apple dumplings. They're making enough for a whole week's time. So they put it in the freezer. They make it one day and put it in the freezer, and then they pull out what they need each day.
You want to try a pickle? They're a sweet tasting pickle. We make these up the road here in York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They're all made in a little kitchen, so that's where we make our pickles.
Wow.
We do it all by hand. We don't raise cucumbers. We just buy the cucumbers and make the pickles with. I retired 4 years ago.
Okay.
So then I needed something to do.
Okay.
And we had been making the pickles for years and giving them away. So I started a business 3 years ago making pickles. And we call it Brother Floyd's. Okay. And that's the almost angelic pickle.
Okay.
And this is the righteous pickle.
Why pickles?
It was my wife's family recipe.
Okay.
And my mother and grandparents have always made pickles.
Okay.
Since the time I was born, before I was born.
Okay.
So it just was a natural to try and do something that I had some history doing. With my
That
parents.
was such a good recipe.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I started working at Brown's 20 years ago. In 1996, and I've been working here ever since. And through those years, I've seen a lot of changes be made here, all for the positive. We really try to gear ourselves towards family-friendly things that we can do here at Brown's. We have a small playground out back that the kids are welcome to play on. And in the fall, we try to have kids events. Over the first 3 weekends in October, we have a fall fest, and we had straw bales out there. The kids played on some slides. They had little games for the kids, and they had a few snacks out there for them. And it was a great family invitation to bring all the families around. So we try to really gear ourselves towards that on Sundays from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So from about May till September, the end of September, we have a concert up at our pavilion. And we just have a small pavilion up there with a small stage. We have local performers come, and each week's a little different. One week may be a country singer, one week may be a local band, and we have people that come just to sit and enjoy the concert. The concert's free, and it runs for a couple hours on Sunday. We have a whole orchard of pick your own, and that's for the customers to pick their own fruit. So we start it in about June. That's with strawberries, and then if we have them available, we have cherries available to pick, and then we'll have peaches available to pick, and then we head into apples and pumpkins. At the end of October, we're finished on that. But that's a great way for a family to come out and enjoy the orchard. Here at Brown's, we're new to the Harvest Host family, where you guys come with your family and stay overnight with your RV and get to experience Brown's for maybe the first time, and the only time in your lifetime get to experience a working farm. You know, where we're busy picking fruit, and not only busy picking fruit, but selling the local products throughout the store here every single day of the week. We're open 7 days a week, year round. So we're very busy. The only days we're closed are major holidays and the day after Christmas.